Video we are going to know about the unitary and federal states or unitary and federal form of government from your political science chapter 2 for grade 12. In the first video also we have understood what are the different forms of government, and in that we have studied the totalitarian, authoritarian and liberal democratic states. And in this we are going to study again two different kinds. One is unitary and the other is federal state. First we have to understand what is the meaning of these two terms. One is a unitary state and the other is a federal state. Unitary means where the powers of the state is vested in the hands of a single central government. No division of power is there. The central government is there who is ruling the entire state. And under that central government there can be local government who will be directed by the central government how to rule and how much administrative work they will be delegated. They will be given some administrative work by the central government. They can do only that much. They are not having any supervisory or any suggestive power to the central government. The central government will be ruling the entire nation. This is unitary form of government. And federal form of government or federal states mean where there will be division of power between different levels of the government. Like we can take example of India. In India we are having central government residing in the center, that is the union government we call it often, and below that we are having the state government. Each state is having its own state government, and then we are having the local government. So we can understand in India we are having three levels or three-tier system, and India is a federal state. We can come to the conclusion with this. But there are few points which makes India quasi-federal. What are the points? Whenever there is an emergency, during any kind of national emergency, or if any state is in some kind of riot or civil war, or if there is any kind of unstable situation within a state, then the entire power of the state goes in the hands of the central government. At that time, the central government takes away all the power from the state and rules directly. Suppose if there is a war between two nations or two countries, maybe India, Pakistan or India, China, is in a verge of having a war, or maybe they are having a war. At that time, none of the states are having power. All the state powers get vested in the hand of the central government. At that time, the central government tries to rule the entire nation. So this is not a feature of a federal government. This is a feature of a unitary form of government. So we have to say always India is a quasi-federal. We cannot say India is a federal or unitary. At times when needed, India becomes unitary. But usually in the normal situations, India is having a federal setup. For that we will say India is a quasi-federal. Next in your book, they are explaining what is a unitary state. Unitary state, all the powers are vested with one central government, and the local government exists and operate only in the way as it deem fit the central government. There is a single legislature, single executive and a single judiciary system in the whole country. This is a main thing of the unitary form of government. Now we have to know a few examples of the unitary form of government, like Afghanistan. Then we are having Egypt, we are having China, we are having Bangladesh, and many more countries are there, like Italy is there, Iran is there. All these countries are falling under the unitary form of government. Next, here you can see there are four popular definitions given here. So I will tell you broadly accepted is a dices one. So we can go through the dices definition, quote unquote, it's written here. And the habitual exercises of supreme legislative authority by one central power. That means all the central powers are vested in one place. The executive, the judiciary, there is division of power, but there is only one central power system. Okay, it is not having any level. It will have organs, it will have legislative, it will have judiciary, it will have executive, but at the central only, not in the state level, not in the local government. All these levels will not be there. Next, you can see there are some features about the unitary government or unitary system of state is written here. So here is a silent feature, few features about the unitary system. A single central all power government, as I have told you since beginning. Next, number 2 is local government exists at the will of the central government. I have told you this also. Number 3 is constitution can be written or unwritten. In an unitary form of government, constitution can be written or constitution can be unwritten also. So written constitutions are in a book format, and unwritten constitutions are in that country. What happens where there is unwritten constitution, the country is ruled by the convention. They follow the convention. Convention means whatever is being followed for many years, but it's not in a written format. That is convention. So constitution can be written, can be unwritten in a unitary form of government. Next, we are having flexibility of the constitution and administration. Here the flexibility is always there. The central government alone has a power to amend the constitution. Okay, the constitution gets easily amended or changed by the central government. Here they are flexible about this, but no state is having any power to object that this kind of rules we are not going to accept. It cannot be objected. Single uniform administration. There will be all the existing or existence of all power is the central government, and there is a single, you can say, leader leads to a single stable and strong government. There are no 4-5 levels, like if the central is saying something the state is denying, and the state is saying something the central is denying. All this kind of disuniformity is not found, and that's because there is a single uniform administration. The decisions are taken very fast and applied also very fast. Basic differences between unitary and federal states, as I was discussing about the features, I have always told you the differences. Next, you can see there is merits and demerits, or advantages and disadvantages of unitary form of government. Let's first see the merits. Merit is, it is having a very strong government. Why they are saying a strong government? Because it's only one body is there and only one power shelter is there. For that they can easily take the decisions, and they can take it in a much more stable and fast way. Single administration, as I am telling you again and again, that only single legislature, single executive, single judiciary. Simple and less expensive system, as because the division of power is not there, different levels are not there, the expenses are less because the ministers, workers there and the officers are there are less in number. Flexibility of the administration, once again the change of the constitution they are talking about. Suitable for small states. Okay, I don't have to explain this point hopefully. Then they are saying about the responsive for its work. So as there is single government, you cannot play a blame game that okay, the state have told this, the state is saying something else, the state have done something else. If something wrong happens, the central government have to own every fault which is being applied there. Can be very useful in meeting emergencies. During the emergencies, they don't have to call so many members from the state, from the center, and then sit for the meeting, right? There are only few members. If there is any emergency, these few members can meet together and take the decision very fast. What are the demerits? The central government is very powerful. The local government is actually having no power. So they can anytime reject or dismiss the local government. So the only one body is there, and that can become autocratic anytime. It is the central government who is the only source, and that is having all the powers. So at any time they can become autocratic by nature. Danger of inefficiency, if somebody behaves in an irresponsive way, or because as there is central government, only one government is there, there will be a lot of work, huge work will be there, they will be overburdened with work. So if they're overburdened, there can be inefficiency, people can ignore and they can delay their work. Ignores local need, because as sitting in the center, somebody sitting in Delhi, is not possible for them to understand what is the need of the people in West Bengal, right? So ignores the local needs. Unstable for big states. If the state is very big, for example in India, in Indian state, unitary form of government will not work, as because the population is huge and the area is also huge. More dependent on bureaucracy. Bureaucracy means the government officers who are working in a high rank. This kind of system is much more dependent on the officers, as because there is not much number of members in the government working there. Less changes for popular participation in the work of the government. Less chances. Okay, the citizens are not allowed to interfere in all the works. Next is less of local autonomy and initiatives. As I told you, the local peoples don't get so much of time or so much of opportunities to criticize or to get into the matters, because there is only single government. Okay, so they have taken up an example of United Kingdom as an unitary state, and I would like to say we can take United Kingdom as a unitary example of unitary state. Similarly, we can take USA as the example of federal state. Okay, first we have to know this very clearly, that in India we are having a parliament, which is a bicameral legislature, which means we are having two houses in the parliament. One is the Lok Sabha, other is the Rajya Sabha. Similarly, in UK they are having the parliament. One is named as House of Lords and the other is named as House of Commons. These are the two houses. Similarly, in USA they are not calling parliament, they are calling Congress, and they are having House of Representatives and and Senate. So we are taking the example of India, UK and USA. All the three examples are bicameral legislature, but the names are different. In the next video, we'll continue taking up the example that United Kingdom, what are the features of United Kingdom as an unitary state.